Here's a question. What makes a novel a book for teenagers? Is it that it's written for them, with them specifically in mind? Is it the theme? Or is it because it has a teenager or teenagers at its heart, which may not be the same thing at all? Salem's Lot was Stephen King's second novel, published in 1975. And so it's now close to half a century old. And it has young people at the core of its story, one of whom, Danny Glick, is a vampire, and the other, Mark Petrie, his classmate, who narrowly avoids joining Danny in vampiredom. I first read it when I was in my final year of primary school, on the cusp of adolescence, and I might, to some adult eyes, have been a bit young for it. I clearly didn't think so, and I came out at the end of it resolutely untraumatized. The novel remains my favourite King book, and is, I think, along with Bram Stoker's Dracula, one of the two best vampire novels ever written. Thanks in no small part to Salem's Lot and Dracula, I've always found vampires more interesting and threatening than werewolves or zombies. Vampires are predators, but cunning ones, and it's their intelligence that makes them so lethal, and perhaps also so attractive. Those fictional depictions of vampires certainly influence the vision of the presence in the tower in the Book of Lost Things, a kind of monstrous mother figure seeking only to consume, but also the images of child stealers that recur in both the Book of Lost Things and the Land of Lost Things, beings that view children only as a source of food, their size and vulnerability making them easier prey than adults, and their life force all fresh and unspoiled, rendering them more appetizing. But to return to that question I posed at the start, is Salem's Lot a book for teenagers? I think, like any number of King's books, that it is, because one of his great gifts as an author, and a talent that has brought him much greater success and longevity than his peers, is the way he writes about young people. King was, before he became a published writer, a high school teacher of English, and if his understanding of teenagers in his books is anything to go by, I suspect he was a very good one. Returning to Salem's Lot as an adult, I read it differently. The experience, although still hugely entertaining, wasn't quite so visceral or immediate because I no longer identified so closely with the children under threat. That may also be true of the two Lost Things books and how readers of different ages absorb them. I suspect that teenagers and adults encounter them in distinct ways, teenagers more urgently, and adults with more of a sense of remembrance and regret. The book can appeal to both audiences at the same time. What's important is that it doesn't patronise either of them. As for parents who worry about their children's reading material, or worse, feel some dreadful urge to ban books entirely, I have only one thing to say. It's the children who don't read whom you should be worrying about, not the ones who do. And there endeth the lesson.